Zimbabwe has got gold everywhere. Why are we poor? The title of one of my videos. I will tell you why. Because the wealth of the nation is stolen at so many levels, and the people who steal know what keeps them safe. Before I go to where it's stolen, let me go to what keeps them safe and why are they happy being where they are. Why are they happy? Why do they carry on stealing and not stopping? Why are they not moved by the poverty of the people? Well, what keeps them in power? Okay, what keeps ZANU PF in power and able to steal with no stopping is because of the international community, international law, the law of sovereignty, that nation states have got the sovereign right to decide their own affairs, their own futures. Now, the problem with this international law is that once it groups a nation state, it says that people within the nation state decide who their leaders are. It recommends democracy. But even if the nation states are not democratic, the international community cannot do anything except to hand out things like sanctions. But sanctions are not really an interference in the internal affairs of a nation, but it is something that happens at the externalities. So what happens inside still is the purview of those that are in power. Okay, how those that are in power get to be in power, stay in power, the international law doesn't care. Okay, so we've got an organization like ZANU-PF which rigs elections. The international community knows that, but because of the sovereignty nonsense, it does nothing. And countries are governed by militaries, not politicians. Politicians actually work for the military because the military have got the guns, they're the ones who've got the power. Politicians are just servants of military everywhere, even in USA, but they just don't want to tell you that. So the military is the most powerful force in any country. You, if it decides to oppress people, so be it. The international community, because of this sovereignty nonsense law, people who have got absolutely no power against the military full of guns are told by the international community, well, you're a sovereign state, you must sort out your own issues. There's no sorting out your own issues. People have got no power. Do you understand what I'm saying? People with no guns are no match to the military with guns. We are at the mercy of the military, which has got the guns. So it's up to them, it's up to General Chiwenga and his friends in the military to decide that enough is enough. Let us set Zimbabweans free. Otherwise, the international community, because of international law, will keep on watching them and say sovereignty, sovereignty. Now, we have had instances where that law has been broken. For example, in the war in Iraq, when George Bush invaded Iraq. Now, I see a lot of people that want to argue that Putin is right by invading Ukraine because also George Bush invaded Iraq. The Iraqis didn't want Saddam Hussein anymore. They were oppressed, but Saddam Hussein was there as an OPF. So George Bush came in and took him out, which is different from Ukraine. Vladimir, the Ukrainians were not crying for freedom from their government. They were okay. Putin invaded a sovereign state that was just happy and came and killed the people. If Putin was the savior of the Ukrainians, why then is he bombing the whole of Ukraine and destroying the country if he was there to save the Ukrainians? It is very different. George Bush did not go around bombing the whole of Iraq. He came and did the job and took the guy out. And when Saddam Hussein was taken out, he was paraded in the streets, and the people in Iraq were happy. I remember watching it on TV. The people of Iraq were happy that Saddam Hussein is gone. And George Bush had to suffer for, even now that he has left office, people still refer to that as in American, what you call it, what they say, interference in sovereign states. And America was right by interfering. America has to interfere in the affairs of smaller states, especially if the military or the leadership of that country is mistreating people, and people have got no power whatsoever. What do you want us to do? Because this is the thing: the only other option for Zimbabweans to free themselves is to be militant. Now that also becomes a crime again. So is ZANU PF saying that since we are not allowed to talk to the Americans or the Europeans about our plight, we must sort our problems internally, when we know that internally they will rig and they have got the power, the military power, and we've got nothing. We've got what weapon do we have? So are they saying that we must pick up arms and fight them militarily? That also is a big no. They don't want that. Do you know what ZANU PF wants? ZANU PF wants to keep on stealing, destroying our lives, colluding with other countries, like-minded militant countries that destroy their own people, that steal from their own people, that oppress their own people. They want us to just to fear them and just live in fear forever, and they just carry on and nobody must do anything about it. The international community must do nothing about it. Well, I've got something for you, ZANU PF. The international community has in the past broken that law. There's always justification can be found to remove you from power. Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction. I can't remember what the Libyan leader had, but NATO went in. Well, ZANU PF is aiding Putin's illegal war in Ukraine. Don't rest on the laurels, ZANU PF. And I've always been telling you that you are resting on the laurels, thinking that no, nothing's gonna happen to us. So you see, it is that international law, that reliance on international law. As I say, a law can be broken. ZANU PF is breaking the law itself by rigging elections. The military of Zimbabwe is breaking the law by stealing the resources of the Zimbabweans and keeping poor people. That is breaking the law. So if the military of Zimbabwe can break the law against the Zimbabwean, what makes you think that the military of the United States or the military of the whole world cannot break international law and come and defend their sovereignty, come and defend, because Europe has to defend itself against Putin, and defending itself against Putin means to mean, cutting the source of Putin's wealth, which is Harare, and Harare is one of them. So which law would they be breaking? They will not be breaking any law. They'll be fighting a war of self-defense by removing ZANU PF. I guess the guys in ZANU PF didn't think of that when they were oppressing us. They didn't think that as they were oppressing us, breaking laws, there's also other people who are bigger than them who also can break laws. Holy is God. Don't play.